So Rick, let's say from the last cycle, peak 2011, what has been your biggest lesson other than not cashing out and leaving? But let's
Same,
say other than that,
same lesson. Same lesson. I was engaged in, well, you know me, one of my periodic bouts of whipping myself with barbed wire in 2014. And I called up one of my mentors, Ned Goodman. And I said, so Ned, why do I do this to myself? Like in 2011, I said publicly there wasn't very much to buy. So what do you do when there's not much to buy? Well, if you're smart, you sell. A hold is procrastination. If something, you either want to buy more or you want to sell what you have. That's a rational response. Did I do that? No. I sold sort of 35% of my portfolios in
so why didn't
2011.
you?
Well, here's why. And I said to Ned, I said, so like what form of weakness is it? And Ned was very perceptive. He says, you know what, Rick? If you're around in the next cycle, you're going to do it again. I thought, oh, God, thanks. And I said, well, why would I do that? And he says, hubris. That's why. In a bull market, you can't help it. Your customers love you, and you want your customers to love you, and you think you're smarter than the other guy. And Ned was kind enough to say, Rick, in your case, that's true. And you think you do deeper analysis than the other guy. And in that case, your case, it's true. And you notice that your companies have better balance sheets than your competitors, which is true. Your process is better. That's true. And in a bear market, none of that matters. The truth is that everything you hold off the cliff falls 50%, except this time it fell more than 50%. Then Ned said something interesting, and he said, but the good news, Rick, is that if you look at my life back 5 cycles, what happens is that everything you don't sell, you lose half of. And then at the bottom of the market, you say, God damn it, I did it again. And you sell the stuff that isn't going to make it, and you buy the stuff that's going to do well in the next cycle. And from the trough of the bear market to the peak of the bull market, you make 10 times. He said, so if you take it, he says, let's say you start the decade with $100,000 and you lose half. Your 100,000 goes to 50. You feel like a moron. So you reorganize your portfolio at the bottom, and then the 50 goes to $500,000. What happened over 10 years is that $100,000 became $500,000. It just had an ugly period in the middle. And he said, if you think about repeating a process where you lose half and make 10 times, he says, not all bad. Now, do I wish I could optimize it? Do I wish I could keep the 500 and make it into 5 million? Of course.